monetizing this. I'm not going to put the donation stuff in the description this time. Just going to share it. Because I kind of just want to get this over with, and we're a little over... We're a little less than 2/3 of the way through the game, I would say, and I want to get the game done on this stream. So we're not going to waste a whole lot of time here. Gotta mute myself. Yeah. So, the last stream, part 2, got taken down by the YouTube gods. I have it under review. But in it, we killed Helios, Hermes, and Hercules. And got them to be in Kestas. And of course the head of Helios. That's really all we accomplished. We did not bang Aphrodite. I avoided that. But YouTube didn't care and still took it down. Now we're heading into Tartarus for arguably the most memorable boss in the game. And my left analog stick is not wanting to work. It's making me go, I'm gonna use the right analog stick to move. That should be a lot more responsive. Alright, the third and final Centaur General. I just realized that we're fighting one of these guys per stream. And usually pretty close to the beginning. Oh. I'm kind of tired. After the stream, I'm probably gonna go to sleep. I've been up for a while, editing, doing a lot of editing, editing God of War 2018 review, editing the next Quint breakdown, and I just have a lot of stuff I want to get done, like this weekend and this next week, and so I'm just like, I'm tired of editing. I'm gonna finish up God of War 3 for you guys. I have probably taken more damage at this fight than I did in the last stream in its entirety. I'm also feeling kind of nasally right now. Just a reminder, we have some of the godly possessions turned on. Michael Rivers, this game is my rest. I said this on the first stream. I think I did. If not, I have said it before. I just don't know where. But I played this game so many times that there were actually instances when I was in like high school playing this game where I would actually kind of like close my eyes and just kick ass. I'm willing to bet I could definitely do this in like less than 3 hours. Come on. Oop. I don't know if that did damage to him, but... I think it did. Okay, now that the second what's coming. I'm actually going to use the Blade of Olympus for once. The thing that sucks about the Blade of Olympus is that it's actually really hard to aim. Like, it's definitely built for, like, either, it's built for either, like, taking on large mobs or fighting bosses. Because it'll kind of just auto-target the nearest enemy. One thing I wish some of the brutal kill stuff incorporated some of the other weapons. Like, it's kind of cool when you kill Hades how you'll actually use his claws, and same thing with when you kill Hercules. Other than that, and stabbing using the Blade of Olympus against Zeus, none of the other brutal kill animations use the weapons. Now, I know that I think most of the enemy types are introduced before you even get, like, the Nemean Kestas. So I don't know how that would work. That might actually be kind of a flaw in this game. Because I think after the Chimeras... No, Cyclopses are actually introduced after the Chimeras as well. So after the Cyclopses, I don't think there's any enemy that gets introduced. Like, I think the Satyrs get introduced later. Sirens, I think, also get introduced later. Again, like, for the most part, the enemy variety, which is pretty high, has a pretty high enemy variety, but most of them are introduced in the first 2 to 3 hours. See, this is the kind of standard puzzle quality in this game. And why I kind of I like it. That's why I kind of like Ascension. Okay, I don't like Ascension, but I do like a lot of its puzzles. I think Ascension does have better puzzles than this game does. This game definitely has, like, the least... I think it just has the least amount of puzzles. Okay, come here, birdie. Come on, come on, come on. Okay. And thus, I have opened the gates of Tisiphone. That is some good art. And now we're in Tartarus. Looking quite a bit different than it did in Chains of Olympus. Chains of Olympus definitely had a more normal view of Tartarus. Like, when I think of the Pit of Tartarus, I think of something more along the lines of Chains of Olympus, where it's this just giant sinkhole with other sinkholes, like, built into it. It's just this giant underground prison with the Titans chained up all throughout. Here, like, we don't see any of the Titans, which I know is because of the time travel. Technically, with the time travel, the only Titans that did get locked up were Atlas and Kronos. And then Atlas with the whole, like, Chains of Olympus plot gets released by Persephone, kidnaps Helios, gets punished by Kratos. Meanwhile, Kronos gets forced to carry the Temple of Pandora on his back. Another... Okay. Okay, that curse remain just didn't end up going anywhere. How did Gaia's Hand end up here of all places? Like, is this really right below where you cut off her hand?
Kronos! I know it was you who killed her, Spartan. Who else could?
I don't know, Zeus, maybe? Such a dumb question. It's even dumber when you find out the guy is not actually dead.
He banished me to the pits of Tartarus. I was tasked by the gods to kill Ares.
I don't know, the Pit of Tartarus in this version kind of looks like an upgrade from where you were at. The Desert of Lost Souls. How does Kronos even know what a Spartan is?
Kratos, your death may not be a gentle one.
Solar Flare! I gotta think that they took at least a little bit of inspiration from Goku versus Vegeta in his Great Ozaru form.
Damn mortal! You will suffer when my sight returns.
Another weird thing, so these variations of these variations, I should say, because there's some with helmets and some that don't, of the undead are the curse remains. Like in the combat arena, they're called the curse remains, and the curse remains are an enemy type from God of War 2. I think they were only in God of War 2. I think also God of War Ascension. I only really remember them in God of War 2.
Show yourself, Kratos.
And they were skeletons. The weird thing about them here is that they bleed. Like, they have all the same blood physics as the other undead stuff. I just find that an odd detail. Wonder why they put that in. And the Cursed Remains, of course, were actually one of the original scrap designs for the zombies in the first game. Very heavily inspired by Jason and the Argonauts. In Jason and the Argonauts, at the end, or in the climax, I should say, they fight a Hydra, they cut off the Hydra's head, and then the people, you know, protecting the Golden Fleece, who, like, were friends with the Hydra, I guess. Yeah, the people who protect the Hydra. This fight makes me all kinds of squeamish. So you're literally peeling them apart.
You are a pest and deserve to be crushed like one.
So they take the Hydra's head, plant its teeth into the ground, and then skeletons pop out from the teeth. So that was their inspiration for the having zombies at all in the game, was because of that very famous scene in the movie where Jason and the Argonauts fight a bunch of skeleton men. And that was also the reason why at the beginning of the game the Hydra is spawning the undead legions. It was a connection based around, again, that very famous scene from Jason and the Argonauts.
Show yourself, Kratos.
But the reason why they scrapped it in the first game was because they it looked too classic. It's the same reason why they didn't go with the original, like, medieval looking Kratos as the lead. They wanted something more. They wanted something more violent, basically. They wanted something more bloody that you could, like, really rip apart and it looked like gory and brutal and all that stuff. But in God of War 2, they ended up making the Cursed Remains their own enemy type that would look like just skeletons on the ground, and then as you walk past them, they spring up and you gotta fight them, and they're actually really hard to kill because they'll fall apart. Get it? Because he's actually in his hand. Yeah, this is not a very hard boss fight because you're kind of just fighting. I don't even think they're tougher versions of the undead. And then you just gotta do the occasional quick time event. Like this. Gotta mash that circle button.
Where did you go?
Kronos is dumb.
By hiding, you show your true nature.
I haven't even moved, hardly. Hardest part of the fight right here. I mean, this is the only part of the fight where I've actually died before. So I was like, I have time to fight those guys, and I didn't have time to fight those guys.
I know that you are here somewhere.
See, how come he doesn't feel that thing busting out of his shoulder? Also, this is the only time that you fight the Cyclops remains. It's actually really cool design. I like it. It's got his intestines and stuff hanging out. See, it felt that. Kronos felt that, but not the Cyclops bursting out to begin with. Yes. Yes, it actually is. Sliding down his esophagus. Let this be a lesson. Don't swallow Kratos, it'll give you indigestion. Yep, that's gory. Hey, I got the Omphalos Stone, which is apparently the stone that Rhea, almost said Raiha, fucking Quince, that Rhea gave Kronos in place of Zeus. Yeah. Oh, this is great. By the that's the Temple of Pandora. That's the setting of a vast portion of the first game. You literally ate your own children. Makes me want, like, I really think they should have picked a different Titan to have Pandora's Temple. Like, not Kronos, like, have Kronos have actually been killed and have the person carrying the temple be like Hyperion or Epimetheus. Like, it's so ridiculous that it's Kronos. Like, the king of the Titans, everyone. Yeah, he was all stripped of his magic and stuff. But still, like, come on.
Kratos, you sent me to my death?
No, calm yourself, Kratos. I knew you were up to the challenge. I truly needed the Omphalos Stone, you'll see.
Make it quick, old man.
A weapon such as this can't be rushed. This will be worth the wait. A fine weapon like no other.
A fine weapon like no other, except for two of the weapons you already have.
As I promised.
It really should have been different. I don't know what developmental issues this game had. but I still just find it weird. God of the Forge. One of the 12 Olympians. Killed with a single spike to his sternum.
Spare her. Pandora. Forgive me.
And this is also the last item you get in the game. Kind of a letdown compared to, like, the other weapons. Yeah, pay no attention to that.
The Nemesis whip is yours, Kratos. Those who stand in your way will feel its electric sting.
Though, the magic power does make up for it, because this is pretty OP. Speaking of OP, we gotta upgrade it. Level 2. Level 3. Level 4. I do not have enough for level 5. Oh well. If my left analog stick keeps acting up like this, it's gonna make the labyrinth pretty hard. And am I the only one who thinks that he kind of looks like a grasshopper hopping around with these? Alright, so this room actually has a lot of chests. We're not going to get them, but in one of those chests is the Daedalus schematics, which is the only like godly possession item that is kind of hard. And there's also a lot of notes and stuff about the labyrinth here, and I'm not going to read them all because I don't feel like I have the time. So we're gonna just blast through this. Yeah, none of the actual puzzle stuff is required, except to get all the chests, which I really don't need. You know what? Let's go ahead and open these. Gotta level up my Nemesis Whip to level 5. ASAP. And now for the only puzzle in this game that is actually kind of decent. And I actually like, really like it. This whole garden is pretty dope. So sorry, I keep hitting my mic because it's so close to my face. It uses the fixed camera perspective in a really cool way to create these perspective puzzles. There's a couple different layers to it too. Like it introduces the concept, then it keeps like expounding on it as you go until you get everything in place.
You! I told him to kill you. I told him the day you were born to kill you. But he would not have it. My stupid husband took pity. And now look what you have wrought. Look at this. Look at it. They're dying because of you. Everything is dying because of you.
Yeah.
The sun is gone. The ocean swallowed the land. Disease infects what remains. I am doing all I can to keep them alive. But you...
Yeah?
Your ruthless murdering of the gods has caused all of this.
Yep.
Ah! You think this garden is not protected? Your brute strength may have bested Hercules. But your simple mind will
Yeah,
never
again, like, a lot
find
of-
a way out.
I actually noticed it a lot more
I look forward to
in this
watching
version
you
of the game than the
die
PS3
here
version,
as an old
where there's a
man.
lot of like wonky animation stuff. Like her when she was lifting herself up, her arm was not touching her leg. Yep. The final godly possession, if you're collecting them all. And this is the only one that you actually have to have in order to beat the game. I love how you can kind of like juggle them like that. You gotta go this way first. Side. I had to come through here in order to kick it. And I think this is our first satyr fight. Unblockables. By the way, this is actually one of the hardest parts of the game because satyrs are fucking terrible. Yeah, they do a lot of that stuff. Oh. Ah, come on, he's ready to... There we go. Yeah, satyrs are really annoying. Especially in enclosed spaces. I think that's actually it for the enemies in this section. That is... You've got to step on this. When we get to the other side. Yeah, those who possess the Stone of Hyperion can see the true path of the gods, look under the stone, yada 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 yada. So basically, the thing about this entire garden is that for a few seconds you can see from the statue's perspective, and whatever it looks like from his perspective becomes reality. Like that rigid stone pathway just became a staircase. Statue's eye is closed and the effect is worn off. But that gave me enough time to get up to this level.
Simple mortal. How dare you challenge us?
That is not drunk, you're drunk.
We aren't finished.
So again, like I get she's basically drained of all of her power at this point.
What have you done to me?
It's all taking her toll, trying to keep everything together.
You coward. You destroy all you touch. Good luck with that little whore you call Pandora.
See, Kratos was just gonna leave you alone, but then he had to talk shit about his waifu, I guess. Queen of the Gods, everyone. Had her neck snapped with one hand by Kratos. Queen of the Gods. burn this. I'll move this. Gotta move Hera's body. I don't think that's enough, actually. Yeah, no, there's still one cup I gotta fill. Gotta fill that cup. Turn it this way. Yeah, I think he knew. I think she knew Kratos would kill her as well. Come on, analog stick. Don't crap out on me. Now I can make my way downtown, walking fast. Base is past and I'm homebound. But gotta move this onto the emblem so it doesn't pop up. And that's how you get out of this garden. Yes, I know how to harpy ride. Why is it still giving me that message? I mean, didn't want to do that, but okay. Ah, the scorpions. Inspired by Clash of the Titans, I believe. What year did the shitty Sam Worthington remake of Clash of the Titans come out? That was also 2010, wasn't it? I know there's like an elevator. There's like an elevator ride. I'll look that up while I'll look that up while this elevator's going. Titans. Yep, 2010. Weird Wrath of the Titans coming, because for some reason the shitty version of Clash of the Titans is the one that got a sequel. And the sequel is actually not that bad. 2012, 2 years later. Yeah, Wrath of the Titans is not that bad of a movie, all things considered. Still not as good as the original Clash of the Titans. Let alone like Jason and the Argonauts or any of the other like classic Greek movies. You know, it's decent. I really love their version of Tartarus as well, which is the giant like double pyramid, the tetrahedron or whatever that shape is called.
Gift of Hades.
Daedalus.
That is what is first. Next, I will take the gift of Boreas, the ice stone. That will give me the power, the power
Catwalk
to
animation.
bring my son back to me.
So, little anecdote. One of my first exposures to Greek mythology, other than there was Disney's Hercules from the late 90s, and then there was Xena Warrior Princess. Now Xena actually had a PlayStation 1 game adaptation that I played a lot as a kid. It was pretty bad. It was really frustrating from what I remember. It was a very hard game. Like, not easy at all. Especially when you get to the Hades levels. Like, there's a couple levels where she's in Hades. I remember level 4 on that game. It was the beginning of Act 2 of like 5 or 6 acts, I think. At least 5 acts. That's as many as I remember there being. There was a boss. It was actually just a boss level. The entire level was just fighting the Cyclops. And it was a massive Cyclops, like the size of a mountain Cyclops. Much bigger than these Cyclopses. And it had like a horn on its head, and the way you had to do it, you had to like dodge its boulders to climb up this pathway, kind of use its boulders to your advantage in order to get to it. And then once you do, you gotta throw your chakra, the little throwing this thing that she has, in order to hit its eye, and then as it's rubbing its eye, you have to cut its fingers to make it fall off the cliff. And then like two levels later, there's a boss that was a Minotaur, and you had to chase him down through a labyrinth and stuff. And then I remember you know, a couple of years, you know, years and years later, I play God of War. I'm like, wow, these monsters that were these really difficult bosses in Xena are just normal enemies in God of War.
Soon I will have my boys.
Soon.
I built
No, you won't.
My calculations are complete. They are accurate. There is no question of my loyalty.
Yeah, notebook entry. Yeah, day 3,287. And like I said, I think the last one that you find is like 7,200 something. Day 275. That's an early one. That's within the first year. I just looked at the chat. It was like, yeah, 2010. That was Clash of the Titans. Now I'm thinking about Clash of the Titans, and what a shitty movie. Okay, so like, the whole theme is that humans are growing disrespectful of the gods, and that's why they want to like kill Andromeda using the Kraken, which is apparently a Titan now, and it's not. Kraken's not even from Greek mythology, let alone a Titan. That was a weird thing in the original Clash of the Titans, where it was the Kraken, which I imagine is just because Kraken is a more recognizable name, and Release the Kraken sounds a lot better than like Release the whatever. See, I'm remembering to use Helios head this time. And so then, like, Hades is the main bad guy for reasons that just baffle me. He's played by Ray Fiennes, just hamming it up. And then you got, you know, main character Perseus, who is being played by Sam Worthington, who looks like just generic late 2000s man. And he gets all this help from the gods. You know, particularly Zeus, his father, being played by Liam Neeson. And then, like, after all the help he gets, you know, just all these like literal Deus Ex Machinas, more so than from the original. Like in the original telling and in the movie itself, like Athena and Hermes gave him a couple weapons and then called it a day, and he had to do everything else on his own. This is one of the most annoying bosses of the entire game, by the way. This is Scorpius. whose only build-up is, if you read some of the notes, Daedalus, talks about how he fears, the Horn of Boreas has gone missing, and the scorpion, like one of the scorpions has gotten a lot bigger. Don't get greedy, don't get greedy. That's the hardest thing about this boss, is it's really easy to get greedy. One thing I do like about this boss, though, is that it's one of the few bosses that actually requires you to use a weapon other than the Blades of Chaos variant. Some crowd control. So, back to the Clash of the Titans. So after all that, Perseus kills Medusa, flies to the Kraken, kills the Kraken using the head of Medusa, takes a, kill a Titan use a Titan to kill a Titan. Which I believe was also a line in the original movie. And after all that, like, then Hades just shows up for no reason. It's like, now you gotta fight me! And then Sam Worthington, who is not Perseus, by the way, he has, like, Perseus is a pretty bland character, all things considered, in Greek mythology. Like, he's kind of the only hero that never fucks up, which makes him, on one hand, less interesting, but at the same time more interesting, because, like, when you're the only one, when you're the only one who does something, that it kind of inherently makes you interesting. So the fact that he's the only Greek hero who is kind of a paragon is kind of interesting. So pretty easy character to get right? But they don't. So Sam Worthington has the gall to say, gods didn't do this, people did this, as his sword is being powered up by Zeus and his lightning. Like, they're literally, it's Zeus doing the work. I should have just taken that hit. Now time for final thing. Gotta dodge these. There's a button press I gotta do here. Got it. And it just froze. Yep. Using its own tail against it. And then you gotta break the tail separately because, I don't know. And thus, the final item of the game, the Horn of Boreas, which is only used in these very specific circumstances here in the labyrinth. Now, apparently, the Horn of Boreas was originally supposed to be a swing, and it was going to be,
You have found the Boreas Ice Storm. It is the key to
one of the actual items. Like, What? Not really. I already ate. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Horn of Boreas was supposed to be the Sling of Boreas. So you got like L2 and squares the bow, L2 and triangles the head, L2 and X is the boots. L2 and circle was going to be the Sling of Boreas. It was going to have like an ice effect, and you're going to be able to like actually use it in combat. But they didn't have enough time to design the full weapon. So they just made it a key. My mind is completely going blank. Oh, that was a mess up. Tried overcorrecting with the wings and it going in the wrong direction. I kind of like this encounter because it mixes in the Gorgons and the shield enemies, which gives you a couple different options against the shield enemies. Like, you can just brute force them with the gauntlet, or you can use the Gorgon to freeze them. In any scenario where you can knock the enemies off the edge is plus in my book. I could probably finish upgrading my Nemesis Whip. No, and having that other item would explain the excessive amount of chests in this game. Like, even on the harder difficulties, it is absolutely no problem upgrading every single item all the way. Yeah, there are just way more chests in this game than you need to do all that.
Who's there?
Daedalus.
My son!
Greek
My
mythology was
beautiful
the father of
Icarus!
Icarus and the creator of the Labyrinth of Creed.
You have the Ice Storm. The Scorpion must be defeated. The Ice Storm. That is the secret of the labyrinth. To escape it, we must assemble.
And apparently, they also had to have Malcolm McDowell re-record his lines when they changed it from a sling to a horn, and he was not happy about that.
Inside, you must use the gift of Boreas. It is the catalyst that drives the labyrinth. You're not, but you. What have you done with my child? My boy, where is my boy?
Your son is dead, Daedalus.
My boy, my child, no. I took the gift of Hades, the liquid fire, and the ice storm to create the power of the labyrinth. Create the power! The power to create, the power to destroy. The king of the gods has forsaken me. He said that if I built the labyrinth, I would see the return of my son. He said that if I took the liquid fire, oh my boy, oh my child.
I always want to quote this game because I've played it so many times. Here's the heart of the labyrinth.
What are you doing? Please, don't
I mean,
do it, Father.
Daedalus, you're the one who designed it this way. Don't come crying to me. Like, you're the one who made it to it. I know he didn't know he was gonna be the one in the cage. Like, another one of the notes you find is that it's like the labyrinth demands sacrifice. There's to be another prisoner here that must be killed in order to reach the heart of the labyrinth. And there's a little flavor text thing, like Daedalus didn't know that he was that prisoner. And now we enter the labyrinth. Pretty cool concept, actually. But ultimately, linear. Yeah. For something called the Labyrinth. The Labyrinth of Olympus, built by the same guy who did the Labyrinth on, you know, Creed. Which might have actually existed, by the way. We found archaeological evidence of there being like a large system of mazes underneath the temple of the castle Knossos, I think is how it's pronounced. But like pre-Mycenaean Greece. For a place called the Labyrinth, this is all really straightforward. Now, I know, apparently, the biggest thing that actually got scrapped from this game was that they wanted this to be like an hour long, which I think would have been too long. I know I said in my review that I wish there was more Pandora, but I wish there was just more of her throughout the entire game. Not to like, my complaint with it is that it's all backloaded. It's all like her entire like existence is just in this labyrinth section, then like 2-3 conversations with her statues before then. Oh, did not make it. I got greedy. And rolling is faster than jogging. Pretty simple block puzzles, just with the room shifting mechanic similar to the stone temple. Is it one of the temples in Majora's Mask had the same thing where the rooms would turn upside down? Okay, hardest part in the labyrinth is this room. I think that part, those parts are on a timer. Like, so it's not that you have to kill every single enemy, so you really don't. Like, I don't think there's ever been a time where I've killed every single siren. almost out of magic. That is old. Come on, turn the room. Go ahead and finish these. Sirens off. Hey, about halfway through the labyrinth. And through, in my opinion, the hardest part of the labyrinth. Like, there's one other section that's a little difficult, but I don't think it's as difficult as that. I've certainly never died on it as many times, playing on harder difficulties.
Pandora! What has he done?
He told me to never talk to you again. He told me if I did, he would hurt you the way he hurt my father.
He won't.
He told me he would kill you.
He can't.
He can't.
Yeah, I love that line.
We must leave this place.
Come, I can show you the way.
I can show you the way. It's actually kind of a straight line. This game's very linear. There's only a couple times where you can go off the beaten path, and it's always for, like, you know, extra chests, which there's already an abundance of in this game. It's really easy for me to actually talk shit about on this game. It's because I've played so many times that I know, like, every single flaw inside and out. Like, anything that can be construed as a flaw inside and out. Pandora was my first experience, I think, with the invincible NPCs. Like, they didn't want to make this seem like an escort quest. So she kind of just does her own thing. She dodges everyone just fine. She does aggro enemies, which makes, well, again, it actually makes these combat sections easier rather than harder. Because, like, I know I'm playing on, like, the second difficult. I'm playing on normal mode, so it's not really all that challenging. But playing on the harder difficulties, Titan and Chaos, 2 Gorgons, that's a pretty big challenge. But with Pandora aggroing one of them, it gets pretty easy. And so long as she does what she's supposed to do. Now, I don't think just extending this scene would have been enough anyway. Like, they would have needed more, like, cutscene stuff, more conversations. I think they could have done that had they given more statues to talk to her through.
I'm going to try something. I think I got it.
This is the hardest part of this half of the labyrinth. This is the hardest thing with Pandora. And it is one of those things like, if you mess up one big time, you're done and gotta start all over. This is the part I'm really worried my analog stick is gonna like go dead and fuck me. Okay, I think I got it. Yep, I got this. Festus is either a much better trainer than we thought, or Pandora was prepackaged with cheats. I'm gonna say Pandora was prepackaged with cheats. I mean, she is like a homunculus.
I'm ready. This way.
I wonder what Pandora would think of Atreus.
Thank you, Kratos.
I wonder what Calliope would think of Atreus.
By its end, you will not be thanking me.
I know I look it, but I'm not a child, Kratos. I have seen many terrible things.
I feel like Pandora would get along with Atreus.
I understand what lies
Like an edgy emo haircut and stuff.
I saw him beaten because of me. I should have helped him, but I was afraid.
I feel like Calliope would be a little more jealous. Like, I was his first.
No! It's all my fault. I failed him because of fear. Fear is its own kind of darkness. In that darkness, I heard what the gods said about me. They called me a monster.
Words mean nothing.
Perhaps. But in their words, I heard fear. The fear of an ash-covered warrior. The fear of you.
Did they tell you whose ashes these are?
The fear in the gods rose. Mine was replaced by hope.
Hope is for the weak, Pandora.
Hope is what makes us strong. It is why we are here. It is what we fight with when all else is lost.
Guess it's a good time to point out that Pandora's several thousand years older than Kratos.
This
Like a
is
couple
what hope
hundred.
delivers, child. You should learn that now.
And she was born, you know, right at the end of the Great War between the gods and the Titans. Kratos was, you know, we don't know how much time passes between the Great War and the birth of Kratos, but we know it was a long time, at least 1,000 years. In another situation that, like, this would be a difficult matchup. If not for Pandora. So, go ahead and just use some magic. One thing I believe about combat systems, something God of War does really well. Actually, the main reason why I can never get into RPGs, no matter how many times I try, no matter how much respect I have for games like Daggerfall, I can never get, super in depth with them. Because I believe that damage needs to be avoidable. There has to be some kind of hint for every attack that an enemy does. There has to be some counter against it. Whether you have a block button, a dodge button, stun, a robust stealth system, I think would count. Like there should be no such thing as an unavoidable attack. It's the thing that kind of bugs me about games like Dark Souls and Bloodborne, where enemies will have these random unavoidable attacks. And then you got games like Daggerfall where, it's kind of just a roll of the dice whether you get hit or not. No matter what you do, there's always just a roll of the dice to determine how much damage you do, how much damage you take. It really kills shooters, by the way. I'm just mashing the combat grapple right now. I'm trying to get the Wraith. think this is also the last room before you reach the top of the labyrinth. I'd use my Blade of Olympus just to speed things up, but I'm gonna probably need that for the next combat section. God, sirens are so annoying. They have so much health. They have so much health, and they dance around a lot, and then they turn like intangible. They gotta use the Helios head. And off with your head. There's a piece of fabric lying on the ground with a message inscribed in blood. How did he write it? Spartan, no man was meant to make it this far, though maybe you are not a man. I do not know you, but I suspect whatever brings you here means that you are no friend of Zeus. He must pay for breaking his promise and letting my son die. If he had no idea who you were, then how did he know you were a Spartan? I can only hope that you can complete your mission. What a fitting end, to die in my greatest invention. The only thing I loved more was Icarus. Now I can be with him. Yeah, about that. I kind of killed the underworld. Might be hard to find him. Yeah, Atreus would feel jealous. Why Paper Mario is so great. You can guard and dodge with good timing. Yeah, no, that's basically a turn-based RPG. With some extra mechanics. Like, I've never actually played the Paper Mario games for myself, but I watched quite a bit of the Game Grumps Let's Play of the series. I ended up kind of getting bored with it after a while. But I do admit that it is a really well-constructed game. Okay, one big combat section left, and then it's on to the final boss. I've been going for hour and a half. I could definitely do this in the next hour. Maybe even half hour. But, I am actually gonna go get a drink. My throat is killing me. Alright, time for this cutscene.
The chain, Kratos. My father once told me it maintains the balance of power within Olympus.
Yep.
Break the chain to raise the labyrinth.
Wait here.
And this is why I paused it at the beginning of the cutscene, because it jumps right into this. God, and For whatever reason, I remember I died so many times doing this on Titan difficulty when I was in high school. Like when I first, you know, platinumed this game on PS3. So you start going so fast after a while. Like going up, like using the wings and wing current to go up, you kind of go at a much more consistent speed. Whereas this is just, obstacles just start blasting by. And I have no idea where these lava rocks are coming from. I have no idea where they would be coming from. Oh. I'm already taking damage. Yeah, this is gonna be rough. Okay, I think I got it. Invisible loading screen, by the way, I believe. I'm pretty sure that that's an invisible loading screen where it'll keep looping that until it loads Hades. Now for the most like difficult thing in the entire game. Seriously, this thing is tougher than at least half the bosses. Like just health bar wise, I swear to God. And it gets worse because, like, spits out all these hounds. They're exploding. It's crazy. Like, he definitely has more health than Helios. These dogs are just so annoying. Let's say you kick them back at them. Just, see, it even has phases. There's phase 1. Then phase 2, you got a satyr. I probably should have saved this for the 3rd phase, but I think the magic is actually more useful against the satyrs. Just gotta... Because the thing is, if you kill that satyr, 2 more will still show up. 2 satyrs will show up in the next phase. Oh, come on! I didn't want to do that! You know I didn't want to do that. At least he stays stunned. See, now a second satyr showed up. So, if you decide, like, okay, I'm going to focus on the satyr and kill him real quick, you'll end up fighting 3 satyrs throughout this fight, instead of just 2. Yeah. Top priority, the Cerberus. And also, Nemesis Whip is probably the better magic to use. Did I? Did the other satyr die? Where is he? When did I kill him? God, they block your attacks. Yep, I must have killed the other satyr with That spamming of army of Spartans. Three judges. Gotta break the chain, but they will not let you. So you gotta break them first. The King Awaken, I think? Yeah, and there's some combat here as well, but it's nowhere near as difficult as the Satyrs and the Cerberus combo. Now to kill King Minos. You know, I've never not blown up the explosive barrels against the Minotaurs. I wonder if you leave the explosive barrels alone, if they'd still be here in this part of the game. Yeah, quite. I know it's Minos, Rhadamanthus, and Aeacus. But I don't remember which one is Rhadamanthus and which one is Aeacus. I think Rhadamanthus is the one with the ram horns, and Aeacus is the one that looks like a snake, or has the snake adornance, whatever it's called, crown. Note written by a young soul. The fires, the people screaming. I was so scared. Why didn't Father protect us? The judges say I have to go to Elysium, and it will be nice there. I miss my family. Yeah, almost definitely written by Calliope. I could technically be any young soul, but again, like all of them couldn't relate to different characters in Kratos' life. Like one of them is definitely Deimos, one of them is definitely the boat captain, which means the other two could very well be his mother Callisto and his daughter Calliope. Yep, the Great Chain has been broken.
He knows, Kratos! Zeus knows I've escaped! Hurry! I can hear him! He's near! Please help me, Kratos! Hurry!
Now going back up the way we came. Again, done through a game plan, not, you know, cutscene.
Hurry, Kratos!
Yeah, that's another cool thing about the God of War series. Anything that can be done through some kind of gameplay, even if it's a quick time event. Like if it can be done through the actual combat system, quick time event, or a set piece moment like this, they do it. Like it's not like Devil May Cry 3 where it just goes into a cutscene and all of a sudden Dante's surfing on rockets and stuff and doing all these like extensive fight scenes without any input from you.
Pandora! Athena?
It's all right, Kratos.
Remember your purpose, Spartan. Remember why you have come so far. Prepare yourself, Spartan. You know what you must do.
I will raise the labyrinth. I will take her where she belongs.
And this is up the exact same way after your first encounter with Hermes. There's this view of the Great Chain again. First view you ever get of the thing. And with the judges killed and the chain broken, you can turn this crank. And we're about to enter the final battle. Yeah, this really tears apart Olympus.
There it is! I can see it, Kratos. In the darkness, the fires of hope will set us free.
Pandora, no!
You know why I'm here. You brought me here to
Well,
do
that
this.
Lily, like, reached for her.
No, Kratos. There is no other way. Let me go!
No, child!
I am not a child! You're hurting me!
And he finally shows up.
Put her down, Zeus!
Your obsession with this thing has become somewhat of a nuisance, my son.
More of a nuisance than when I dropped off a bunch of Titans on your doorstep. That's kind of my headcanon that, like, this whole time Zeus has been just fighting the Titans.
Your quest for Pandora, your pathetic attempt for atonement from the family you slaughtered, has caused nothing but havoc on Olympus. Look around at what you have done.
I see only what I have come to destroy.
Taking pity on you has been my greatest mistake, Kratos. Just as taking pity on this thing will prove to be your greatest mistake.
This has nothing to do with her!
It has everything to do with her!
Put her down!
As you wish.
He's ready for some Mortal Kombat. I don't know if you can counter that. One thing I'm gonna do real quick. Zeus?
Surrender to me and Pandora will live.
I just had a funny thought. Imagine Atreus playing really all the games. It's this part is like, I almost had another sister?
Pandora! Pandora, no!
Stop her, Kratos. Do not let her into the flame.
This is what I am meant to do! You know that! Please!
Hush!
Kratos, you know this is the only way!
Don't listen to her, Kratos. For once in your pathetic life, don't fail. Don't fail her like you failed your family.
Ooh. Only way to fail her is if you survive to the end of the day.
Pandora!
Of course, Zeus is a Shoto.
Power to kill a god.
Empty! After all you have sought, after all you have sacrificed, it ends in another stunning failure.
I love Corey Burton's delivery of that line. Another stunning failure. Ba-da-dum-dum. Things are getting things are starting to ramp up. We're entering the second phase. And also the shortest phase of the fight.
Such chaos. I will have much to do after I kill you.
Face me, father. It is time to end this.
Yes, my son. It is time.
Trying to like counter that move, but I think I just gotta dodge it. Yeah, guy is still alive. Of course she is. Remember she had like all the onyx crystals in her heart that were totally like just blatantly something you would have to revisit.
It bleeds because of you. I never sought your death, Spartan. Yet you have left me no choice.
Your pawn has failed you, Gaia. Perhaps you should have chosen the other one.
Enough!
Other one referring to Deimos.
Die together.
So it's a little bit of blood trail from Zeus. Okay, third phase and also the hardest. Hey look, I'm giving her heartburn.
I'll put an end to this chaos.
See, that I'm able to counter just fine. I don't think there's any way you can stop him this first time. Oh, come on, no. Yeah, attack guy's heart, attack guy's heart. No, make sure he doesn't replenish his own health. There's a lot of things to keep track of in this final fight. do love the music for this, though. It sounds a lot like Carmina Burrata, actually. Dun, 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 dun. Also, in my experience, the Blades of Exile are the best weapon to use in this phase because of just how much crowd control there are. Though the Claws of Hades are also pretty good. No. God, bad time to jump into rage mode. Because like I said, earlier, you can't aim the Blade of Olympus strikes. So this phase of this boss fight, it's not very useful, but you need to do it because you just need to throw everything you have at him. Okay, after the next, yeah, after the next that. Let's just empty all of my magic into him. That concludes this phase of the fight. and all of his weapons are broken except the chains.
I will be your end. Let the fear inside, Kratos.
The fear sound good.
Darkness lies ahead, Kratos.
Oh god, my analog stick. If my running is all choppy, that's because there's dead spots in my analog stick that keep me from moving forward, right?
Mother, what's happening outside? The people, the fires!
Shh. Stay close, Calliope.
Mother, I'm scared. Are they coming to get us?
Your father
Yeah, just
will protect us.
good old wear and tear from having this thing for
Daddy?
about 6 years now. A little over 6 years, actually. Got this,
Mother, no!
what's that? I definitely got it before the release of Infamous Second Son. So I remember I ended up pre-ordering that game, so I would have something to play.
Kratos! Come. I can show you the way. Hurry! I can help Kratos!
Yeah, so for however long I've had a PS4, I've had this controller.
Kratos, in the darkness, the fires of hope will set us free.
I like that this little lantern is the same exact shape as her cage in the labyrinth. The heart of the labyrinth. Luckily there's like no time challenges here because this is... dead spot's like right there. Actually it's from like right here to right there. So like the entire like 1 to 2 o'clock range is just dead.
You can see the light. It is changing you. It is time to lay your fears to rest. The light reveals the truth. The power of forgiveness comes from within. To be forgiven, you must find the power to forgive yourself.
See, this is why I ended up really liking God of War 2018. Is really built off of this segment here. I'd like a little more acknowledgement of the things, of the terrible things Kratos did before becoming the God of War in 2018. Like have the talk with Atreus that he's like, where Kratos is like, you know, Ares tricked me into killing my family.
Athena! No!
What? Gotta backtrack.
Kratos, fear drove Zeus to kill his father Kronos. The same fear that brought the Great War. A fear that drove Zeus to kill you, his own son.
And replaying
Zeus
that dialogue.
uses fear to keep you in the dark. Confront your demons and lay them to rest.
Yeah, I gotta go see what they want. If it'll even let me pause it. Alright. Everyday laundry.
The gods of Olympus have abandoned me. Now there is
Reference to the very first moments of the first game.
Do you remember that day, Spartan?
The Barbarian King.
I wouldn't know you could hurt her.
Hephaestus.
Good luck with that little whore.
Hera.
Pandora.
You cannot change your destiny.
Lachesis.
I gave you everything.
Gaia.
Please, don't do it, Spartan.
Daedalus. Kronos.
Die, Spartan.
Persephone.
Today you may defeat me,
Hermes.
but in the end, Kratos. In the end, you'll betray only yourself.
I think that's supposed to be Atlas.
You will never find her.
Hephaestus.
Never puts us back in the ground.
Deimos. Hades.
Oh no, not you again!
Boat Captain.
Your soul will never find peace for what you have become.
Atropos. Deimos.
Wait! I can tell you.
Helios.
Zeus, you must step into the flame to receive its power.
You destroy everything you touch.
Gaia.
at the true face of hatred.
Hades.
Come, I can show you the way.
I created you, and I will be your end.
Hurry!
Why won't you die? Die! Tremble in fear.
Kratos! Ah! fear in the gods rose, mine was replaced by hope.
Power
To kill a god.
Hope is what makes us strong. It is why we are here. It is what we fight with when all else is lost.
What time for my controller to start up? Okay, I think I'm back. God, that was so weird. I hate it when it does that. Like, it'll say, oh, it's low, and then I plug it in, it's like, no, now it's dead. And there's nothing you can do about it. There's been times where I've had to actually, like, completely restart my system when it does that. Y'all can still hear me, right? Yeah, okay. So, fun fact about this bit right here. I didn't know that it could go on indefinitely. So, really, you could stop it right here. Like, as soon as the entire screen is ready, you can stop it. But you can keep it going for however long you want. I probably stood here for like 20 minutes. Just seeing how long it would go before I was like, Jesus Christ, I need to rest my thumb. And then it went to the next cutscene. It's like, oh. Ah. Final cutscene. So much destruction.
You have done well, Kratos. Freed from the bondage of Olympus and cleansed in chaos, mankind is now ready to hear my message.
Look around you, Athena. The world stands in ruin. What good is your message?
Go if you must. But first, I insist you give me the power from inside the box.
The box was empty.
That can't be true. I can see it in your eyes. You used my power to kill Zeus. You still have it as we speak. Don't you understand? When Zeus gathered all the evils and placed them in the box, I dreaded what would happen if it was opened again. And so, I summoned the most powerful weapon in the world, and I placed it in the box.
I told you, it was empty. Pandora was sacrificed in vain. She died because of my need for vengeance.
You must be mistaken. You used my power to kill Zeus. I saw you do it. Unless... Of course. When you opened the box, you released the evils to the gods. Infected them.
Yeah.
Changed them. Zeus himself fell prey to the dark evils. This is why he became so enraged and obsessed with your death. He was consumed by the evil, fear. I thought the power I placed in the box was never released. All these years, I assumed you drew from the evils inside to destroy Ares. But I was wrong. The power you took from the box is mine. From it, you gained the strength that Zeus could never destroy. A strength great enough to overcome fear. Locked deep inside of you, Kratos,
Power of hope.
is hope. It has remained buried, trapped by your guilt and the failures of your past. When you killed Zeus, you must have allowed something to awaken it. What was it, Kratos?
Hope is what makes us strong. It is why we are here.
A little annoying that they had
What
to.
we fight with when all else is
They
lost.
played that exact bit twice.
What was it, Kratos?
All I remember is what I have lost.
That is why you should give me the power. I understand its true meaning and where it belongs. I trust you to do the right thing, Kratos.
You shouldn't.
You owe me this, Kratos.
I owe you nothing.
I made you a god. I sheltered you from the wrath of Olympus. I delivered you revenge on Zeus.
It is over, Athena.
You would dare strike me down?
Again? 2 games in a row?
My vengeance ends now.
No!
One last spiteful act.
Fool! What have you done?
Unleashing all the power of hope to the lost souls wandering the earth. Well, wandering the Greek earth.
That was meant for me! They will not know what to do with it!
I love this game so much. That look you just gave her.
Disappoint me, Spartan.
Yeah. That whole... That's... And then he woke up later and eventually made his way to Midgard. Found a wife named Laufey. Went by Faye. Turns out she was actually a frost giant the whole time. Had a son named Atreus. She wanted to name him Loki, though. But their adventure would be in a different game. That would come out 8 years later. Yeah. So, that concludes God of War 3. Still my favorite game in the franchise. Still one of the best action games, I think, of all time. Story is kind of dumb. Like, really dumb in a lot of parts. Silly. It's a silly game. And there's some other, like, small nitpicks, particularly with the animation. It was really pushing the PS3 to its limit, which is why it still holds up today graphically, but in pushing the PS3 to its limits, it kind of breaks in a couple spots. What can I say? 10-year-old game, still holds up. Holds up a lot better than other games that came out in 2010, like Mass Effect 2. Basically, I really don't think Mass Effect 2 is all that great of a game. And it really doesn't hold up now, especially after Mass Effect 3 kind of showed the futility of the binary morality system it had. So yeah, I'm gonna actually just wrap it up. It's past 5 o'clock. God of War month will conclude here in a few days with my review of God of War 2018. It's been a blast. I got some other things. Got at least one other video game related thing planned for May. And that'll be it. This is like, yeah, next stream, who knows? Maybe I'll do more Shadows of Mordor. Maybe I'll do something else. Maybe I'll start streaming Horizon Zero Dawn or Metal Gear Solid 5 or something else that I have. I'll leave that up to you. Thank you all for watching. Have a nice day.